2026 is stacked, but not in the usual way. This year is really interesting because we've been getting a mix of horror, experiments, projects, and then a couple of games that have been cooking for years. So these are 5 very different games to play in 2026 that you might actually have not heard of. So no GTA, especially because it's probably not even coming out this year. Let's start with Resident Evil Requiem because survival horror has definitely been changing recently with new games last year and 2024 like Stalker and Silent Hill F. Resident Evil keeps reinventing itself. It's classic survival horror, it's action, it's first person, and now it's back again. Requiem feels like Capcom really doubling down on the tension over the spectacle. It's much more slowly paced, there's anxiety, and environmental storytelling. It really emphasizes the atmosphere, sound design, lighting, and fear from uncertainty rather than jump scares. And this game really contrasts with action-heavy Resident Evil. This one feels a lot more deliberate. This matters if you want to feel uncomfortable in horror games again. If you miss being scared of opening doors, this is your 2026 horror anchor. If Requiem is about fear through control being taken away, this one is the exact opposite. Game number 2, Marathon. Marathon is doing something genuinely risky, a multiplayer game that completely changes the importance of KDA. Marathon is an extraction shooter, so you go in, get loot, get out, or lose everything. From what I've seen, this game kind of feels like reverse Valorant. It's PvP tension mixed with PvE pressure, minimalist sci-fi aesthetic, not military shooter energy like CSGO. Gun feel is really the selling point of this game though. The movement, the shooting, the flow. Marathon is about tension, decision making, and knowing when to leave. This game is for people who are really burned out with regular battle royales, and players who like high-stakes multiplayer without constant chaos. Star Wars Zero Company is one of the most interesting Star Wars games in years, and that's because it's not trying to be cinematic action. It's turn-based, squad-focused tactics. More thinking, less playing. It's comprised of smaller stories, morally gray missions, much more grounded Star Wars. And I think this is really cool because Star Wars works really well when it slows down, and Zero Company feels like the galaxy seen from the ground, not a hero shot. This game is really, really great for strategy fans and people who like planning, positioning, and consequences. Routine is the definition of quietly terrifying. Not a ton of huge marketing towards this game, which is surprising because it was announced in 2012 and came out 13 years later in December of 2025. This is a retro-futuristic sci-fi horror game, empty spaces, long hallways, loneliness. Not much action for the first 20-30 minutes of gameplay. It's horror from isolation, not monsters constantly chasing you, and it feels a lot closer to Alien than modern horror shooters. This game really, really stands out because it's not trying to scare you every 10 seconds. It lets your brain do the work of just feeling like something's wrong, and that's always scarier when you're convincing yourself. This game belongs in 2026 because it shows restraint, a great reminder that horror does not need combat to be effective. In fact, there's almost no combat in this whole game. And this game has really, really deep detail, which is a result of the 13 years of work that this game took. There are dates on wires that most people won't even notice, and textures in dark rooms that almost no one will ever be able to see. Routine's attention to detail is really remarkable. Now, if you just take a look at this clip from my stream, I passed this disabled robot a few times easily, and just watch. I did it. I don't... Just a glimpse of how terrifying this game actually is. Crimson Desert is interesting because it looks like a standard open-world fantasy game, but it's actually doing some things differently. It's a single-player focus from an MMO studio, with emphasis on systems, physics, travel, world interaction. It gives a lot less Chosen One energy and more grounded fantasy chaos. The combat is weighty and experimental. Similar to Routine, but less extreme, it was first announced in 2019, and is now coming out 7 years later in 2026. This feels like a game that's really trying to earn its scale instead of just being massive for marketing reasons. This game is for people who want exploration and freedom in games, and anyone who's tired of copy and paste open worlds. And before you click off, I just want to give you a quick reminder that these videos are absolutely free to watch, and I make no money from them. So if even just 1 or 2 of these games is going to end up on your wish list this year, you would be doing me a huge favor if you could just hit that subscribe button real quick. And with that being said, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Find a Steam gift card under your bed tomorrow, and I will see y'all in the next video.